truth here, and I feel like I want to share with you a little bit of my story. It's an intercultural marriage for 25 years.
Hello, I'm Jean, JK, Ruth's husband, Daddy. That's about all the names I have that I officially know of. In the Middle East. Here's the Netherlands, there's the Philippines, so you meet in the middle.
And then I finished my school, I passed my board exam, and then I went to Bahrain and I met him there. At that time, he was the food and beverage manager of a hotel, and then I was the one that was doing a lot of transactions with him about a band.
It just happened.
What do you mean it just happened?
It just happened. Because she was not tall in posture, but great in character and style and attitude and love.
Mm-hmm. And as soon as I saw this guy, I heard an audible voice in my ear. I know it's weird, but it says, "That's the man." I'm like, "Oh, that's him." And then, I never really had like a relationship where I would say relationship. I never had a boyfriend that I can say, okay, I really had a boyfriend for 3 months or 6 months. No, it was just like, I never really, it wasn't really in my book. So, but when I saw this guy and I heard the voice of God saying, "That's the guy," I'm like, ah! Okay, I'm new to this. And then the very first time that we ever spoke to each other, I just felt that he really is the guy. But at the same time, I wasn't showing him that I like him because coming from the Philippines, and I'm like almost 50 now, and so I'm still from that past where they're a little conservative. So I'm like, I'm not gonna show him liking, but if he's gonna show me he likes me, I'm not gonna say no. And so he asked me out, and I didn't hesitate because I knew in my heart that he is the guy for me. Well, when I was young, in teenager, I was already praying for the man that I'm going to marry. And so I saw it in my vision that I'm going to marry somebody that's not from my own country. It's a different culture. I know he's going to be white. I just know it in my heart. And then, I forgot about that.
I've always thought it was more interesting to be with people of great character than of just good looks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was 3 weeks into the marriage. But we fought it out.
It's been tough. It was tough for at least, I would say, the first 12 years of our marriage. It was really tough because I was growing, and at the same time he was growing. I was growing in a sense where I was 23 years old. My ideals are all completely different. My expectations were so different from his expectations. I even call it false expectation or wrong expectations because you can't really expect your spouse to fill in your void. You can't expect your spouse to fill in the joy that you want. You can't expect your spouse, okay, they are there to make you really be happy, and they are an addition to that, to the need that you have. But what made it hard for the first 12 years was I was looking and searching for that from him, and you'll never find it. We had this journey where we would say, okay, maybe we don't have to go and pursue. But then we had our miracle babies. We have our miracle babies. We were not supposed to have babies, but God gave us 2 beautiful ones. That's another story. But after 12 years of do we separate, do we not separate? Because we really we really had a hard time. We have both a very strong-willed mind, and we are very proud in our hearts. You're not supposed to go say that to me. No, you're not supposed to say that to me. So I'm like, that type of pride is not gonna work. But a lot of forgiveness. But one time I was in his office and I asked him, "Do you think you can live without me?" And he said, "Yes." No, don't get hurt. Don't get hurt for me, because I was the same. I can. And he said he can, but we don't want to. So these decisions are supposed to be for the both of you. And so that's Jesus, who helped me have that source within me to constantly, okay, and I literally would say constantly forgive. I can't do it, but I was willing. He can't do it, but he was willing, so we just constantly forgave, and God somehow helped us through the journey. It was hard.
Well,
and then now it's like really sweet.
yeah, and we see that, yeah, which is so good. That is so good. It's really a testament.
Yeah.
Challenging at the beginning, more challenging in the middle, and still challenging at this stage. But I think it's all about forgiveness. Well, she communicates. No, let's say it differently. She talks a lot, I listen a lot. So that's the communication. For me, I just have to be very patient and listen a lot. It's both ways again. But many times, she talks more than I do.
Okay, maybe number one for me before was like, he would be, I never worked in my life. Okay, I'm an optometrist, but I never worked in my life where I would say, oh, I have to work, So I didn't really understand what it was to work. Now that I work a lot, I understand what it is. Please give me a chance to breathe, I didn't know. I'm like, he's this and I'm this, We're just totally opposite. I'm just so affectionate, and he wasn't affectionate the way I wanted him to be, So again, the expectation there. But he would come home sometimes and he's just not right. He's just had such a bad day at work. And here I am. I'm very excited for my husband to come home. I wanted him to tell me everything. Because I didn't do anything. I was just doing some volunteer work here and there and all that. But when I'm excited to see him because I'm in love, you see. But with him, he has other things to think about, right? So what happened was, every time I would ask him to tell me things and all that, and I wouldn't get the answers right, or he would have such a hard time at work, and then when he comes home, he would just, blurt it out on me. And so I felt like, oh my gosh, is there something wrong with me? And so I think for us, especially women, don't put it on yourself. There has been, all of a sudden, God had given me this revelation that when he had such a bad day at work, you just say, okay, you know what? Just calm down. When you're ready to talk, we can talk about it. But in ease, not that, because I don't deserve it, and he knows I don't deserve it, but, sometimes you just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, sometimes you just, please don't talk to me. I was like, but actually, it wasn't me. It was something else that has happened to him. So don't take it to yourself. That's just the way it is. Don't take it to yourself, so that you'll be able to be above what it is that he's going through. You're supposed to be able to help him. And so to be able to go and help your spouse, you have to be above what it is that they are feeling. It's not about you. It's really not. It's not your issue.
I think we grow very strong as a couple. We have been very blessed with two beautiful young ladies that were born to us miraculously, and we just grow stronger in our relationship. As a matter of fact, the longer it takes, the stronger you get. The love comes from her and from me. All right. Okay.
And of course that one, yeah. The fire. There would be days when he's just busy. I mean, like really totally busy. And there would be times when I would pray, God, can you remove in my heart the desire to have a date with him or to have him over, because I'm having this longing for him and he's not there. And God would just do something weird. Like all of a sudden he would come to our house and he would just hug me and then he leaves, you know. So what, for me, I would suggest that you make sure that Jesus is your friend. You have somebody that you can go and talk to, and then he's gonna do something about it. Because if I'm just gonna talk to my husband, he would feel like I'm nagging him. But if I talk to the Lord, God will talk to him, and he's gonna go and touch his heart, and he will come to me, and I'll be able to receive it properly. So that's one. And then I think the one thing that really spoke to me also one time was I felt really I was scared actually, because of like I wanted to go. I'm used to having high tea with him, and all of a sudden this time I didn't want to have high tea. I just, you know, Lord, what is going on with my heart? And I'm like the affectionate one, and I'm the fire, and I'm the romantic one. All of a sudden, really, I don't really think I have that feeling right now. I have to pray quickly. I pray, God, I cannot have this, and this is not me. This is not you. Please make a way. And all of a sudden, like in a second, I have this. God reminded me, do you remember when he said that to you? And do you remember the time in the past, this? And then all of a sudden I get really excited because, oh yeah, he really liked me, you know. And then I call again. And I call him straight away. I said, I miss you. You know, I try to magnify even the smallest bit of goodness. Try to magnify even the smallest bit of memory that you can think of. You know, just magnify that. And then there was, I think I need to go and tell you this, even this is not your question. There was a time when I was so hurt by my husband, not because he wants to hurt me. Listen, when you get married, you don't want to hurt each other in the beginning. You just don't. It's just the way it is. But there's an enemy that would want to divide you, and there are these thoughts and insecurities that will come out of you, and so therefore that has to be dealt with for you to have a really good relationship. But there was a time in my early years, I was so hurt by my husband. And the Lord told me, write a love letter to him. I'm like, no, I'm not going to write a love letter to this guy. He doesn't deserve it. I'm like, Lord, no, I don't want. Not, as I said, my husband's beautiful. He has such a beautiful heart, very generous heart. Really beautiful, but I couldn't think of it that way. You know, when you're angry of a person, even your mom, you know, your dad, whoever you love most in your family, even your binky, you know, whatever it is. But at that time, I'm like, okay, I'm like, I have to obey. You know, that's me. I obey God so much. I started writing. Okay, dear Dad, you're a good dad. Okay, that definitely is the truth. Nothing but the truth. You're a good dad. And you're a good mentor to your people, and you're a good this and that. The more I wrote down whatever he is that God is revealing to me, I started to have compassion. I started to have, again, love. I started to have this feeling of excitement. I'm like, oh yeah, actually my husband's a good guy. You know, you all of a sudden forgot what he just did to you a while ago. I'm like, what happened there? You know? So I would suggest, you know, if you can't really express yourself, you can write it down. Write it down. If you can't express it through your letters, you say it. If you can't express it through saying, you just embrace. You know? One thing I would say is, do not let the sun go down with anger or any type of division between you. There would be, you know, my husband's an evening person and I'm a morning person. So, I mean, yeah, it's the other way around. He's the morning person, I'm the evening person. So by 11 o'clock, I'm wide awake. And he's like, sleeping. So if we would have an argument or whatever, he would be sleeping and I would be so hurt. Yeah. I'm like, so I'm gonna, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna embrace him. in the name of Jesus.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and then I'd feel better. And then the next day, it's either we talk about it or, you know, we leave it for the next 2 days. I mean, everybody has their own. I don't know. Maybe your marriage is perfect. I don't know, but mine was just right. You know, because there's reconciliation, there's forgiveness, and my kids are not immune to, you know, us talking and arguing sometimes. Because I wanted the children to see that there's reconciliation, that there's forgiveness, that there's love. That love is not, you know, covering things up. No, the truth is you are both intelligent, amazing beings. And to be together in one house and, you know, one person wanting her or his way and the other wanting his or her way, how do you do that? You know, so, you know, the Bible says, do not be self-centered, because self-centeredness is the beginning of strife.
Patience. Patience and patience. That's the top 3. And don't get too stuck up. Learn to accept each other's good things, but also particularly the shortfalls. Not going to be easy. Some of the stuff she does still irritates the out of me, but well, you come to a point that you'll just have to accept it. Besides that, once again, I think the willingness to forgive is very important. Not just the forgiving, but the willingness to forgive and not drag it on and go back to it and revisit it and put it forth in the next discussion again. That is just too tedious.
Number 1 is you have to have a relationship with Jesus. Because without him, you wouldn't have any strength to continue to love. I realize that love is actually giving. It's not what you receive from him, it's what you give him. I realize that, you know, again, forgiveness is the key, it's the bridge. And I guess for me, it was more on understanding that he is not my joy, it's God. And so because of that, I shine the brightest. Because you see, when you have the joy and when you know your identity and you know who you are, and that's who he loved in the beginning. Anyway, that's who he was attracted to me. That's why he was attracted to me, because I was me. And usually in a relationship, you lose you.
Yeah.
But with me, God had to show me who I was again before I could actually be who I was again with him. Does that make sense?
Totally, yeah.
Well, my desire really is for both of us to, you know, be able to really reach out to other people more and more as a husband and wife, because there's a lot of hurting relationships out there. At the same time, be able to also do a lot of writing together. He loves Harley and I love him. I want, because I do a lot of events and a lot of conferences that empowers people, and he's been there with me all along, and I want this to grow a little bit more, and you know, we're together on that. So just to be able to walk together hand in hand with God on our side and still be in love and romantic and just daily have that love companion that everybody would long for.
Yeah.
And you know what? Every after storm, the environment's cleaned up. So, you know, I encourage everybody to don't give up when you're going through such hell. You just go on and walk on and forgive more and ask God and forgive some more and ask God some more. And once you get into the other side, believe me, it gets sweeter. Love God. love yourself and love others.
Awesome.
And the last one is don't expect them to fill you up. Expect God to fill you up, and when you have an overflow, you're ready to give. Because love is like that. It's giving.
It's been great.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kadener.
Yeah. Okay.
Till next time.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.